Elmwood Heights gleamed under the late summer sun, trimmed hedges, quiet cul-de-sacs, a suburban postcard I'd called home for a decade.
Welcome to Karen Chronicles. Before we begin, please like the video and subscribe to the channel so we can continue creating even better content. Thank you so much. All right, let's get started.
I'm Tom Grayson, 42, a mechanic with grease-stained hands and a stubborn streak, living in the split level my dad left me. Out back, docked on a concrete pad, sat the family boat. The Elsie May, a 20-foot fishing rig, Dad's pride, my anchor since he passed 5 years ago. It was my slice of peace, polished hull, steady hum, until Margaret Winters, Elmwood's new HOA queen, decided it was her enemy. Last Monday, a neon orange notice hit my mailbox. HOA violation. Vessel on common area. $300 fine. Remove within 7 days. My gut twisted. Common area. The Elsie May sat square on my lot, pad poured. In 89, Dad's hands in every slab. Margaret, 59, with a perm tighter than her grip, had swept in as chair 3 months back, clipboard swinging, her icy smile a warning. I'd seen her fine Mrs. Kim's birdhouse, ignore Mr. Lee's peeling fence, her rules bent fast. When wallets aligned, this wasn't a fine, it was a jab, and I'd be damned if she took Dad's boat. Tuesday, I dug in. County land records, Dad's deed, my flashlight tracing lines in the garage. Lot 17, mine, clear as day. 0.4 acres, boat pad smack in bounds, no common area near. Bullshit, I muttered, mittens, my tabby purring beside me. Margaret's notice was a lie. HOA maps matched mine, no overlap. Wednesday, I confronted her, her perm bobbing as she snapped pics of the Elsie May. It's mine, deeded, I said, papers in hand. Her smirk didn't budge. HOA says common, move it or lose it, she snapped, voice dripping venom. Her finer claw I'd pry off. Thursday night, instinct struck. 2 a.m. Sleepless. I peered out. Margaret's shadow crept along my fence, tape measure glinting, stakes in hand. My phone glowed, camera rolling. She paced, muttered, shift it, prime spot, jamming markers, sketching a fake line, her perm a silhouette against my floodlight. Gotcha, I whispered. Video caught her red-handed, remeasuring Dad's lot, forging a map to steal it. Friday, I checked. Her new survey hit the HOA site, my boat pad, half my yard, now common, her stakes a lie to snag my land. Elmwood's quiet hid her greed. Margaret wasn't tidying. She was taking her common area, a grab at Dad's legacy. Mom's roses, now mine. Next, my footage, 2 a.m., her stakes, burned. Could her perm, her plot, outrun a mechanic's? Proof. She thought me a pushover, thought Elmwood hers to carve. Wrong. I'd built engines tougher than her. I'd rebuild this fight. Margaret's fine, her map, her midnight creep. How far would she push before I pushed back? Margaret Winters' midnight land grab caught on my security cam. Her perm bobbing as she staked my lot, lit a fire under me. Tom Grayson, that wouldn't quit. Elmwood Heights wasn't just losing the Elsie May's pad, it was bleeding. And Friday's neon orange fine, $300 for my common area boat, was her claw tightening. I'd snagged her forging at 2 a.m., but Saturday the cracks spread. Neighbors weren't whispering. They were waking. Linda Chen, 68, retired lawyer next door, knocked, her silver bob sharp, eyes sharper. Tom, she said, county docs in hand. No boundary shifts filed. Hers a fake. Linda's dig hit gold. Friday she'd stormed the county clerk's office, deed in tow. Lot 17 mine, unchanged since 89. No common area redraw. HOA's got no legs, she grinned. My video, her papers a 1-2 punch. Margaret's bluffing, but why? I showed her 2 a.m., stakes shifting, her prime spot mutter. Linda's jaw tightened. She's not just after you, check this. Her laptop glowed. HOA notices piling. Mrs. Harper's shed, common. Mr. Torres fence encroaching. 5 homes, all fined, all redrawn. It's a sweep, she said. Margaret wasn't sniping, she was swallowing Elmwood whole. Saturday dusk, Derek Jones, 40, wiry mechanic pal, slipped over, eyes darting. She got me, he hissed, beer can trembling. Wednesday cornered me at Dino's. Fix these docks or I fine your garage, $500. Made me tweak maps, hers, Harper's, fake common lines. My gut churned. Derek's scrawl on Margaret's survey, her perm looming as he caved. She's got Greg, Voss, pushing Pinnacle Corp, big payout. His whisper a confession, her net tightening. I'm out, here, he shoved. A USB, emails, she's deep. I plugged it, Margaret to Greg. Harper's next, 2 mil locked, speeded up, Pinnacle's logo, a parking empire glinting. Sunday, I synced my cams. Friday, 3 a.m., Margaret's shadow again. Not. My lot, Mrs. Lopez's, her perm nodding to a stranger. Hooded, lean, cash-swapped, finish Torres, fast. Her voice low. My lens caught it. Bribery, live, her stakes a money trail. Chat flared, Mrs. Lopez's, she fined my roses, 200. Mr. Chen's, my shed, 300. 5 homes, 5 grabs, her common a cash cow. Linda's, eyes blazed, she's rigging Elmwood. Pinnacle's parking lots, our land. Derek's, she'll ruin us, his maps, my cams, her greed, a noose knotting. Elmwood wasn't hers, it was ours, and Margaret's midnight plots weren't one-offs. They were a heist, 5 lots, 5 lives, Mrs. Harper, 75, widowed, Mr. Torres, 69, alone, her prey, our kin. My boat, the Elsie May, wasn't. Just Dad's, it was Elmwood's line. Could her bribes, her fakes, outrun a mechanic's lens, a lawyer's dig? Linda vowed. Meeting, Saturday. She's toast. Derek shook. I'll testify. Margaret thought us scattered. Thought. Her perm, her cash, crowned her wrong. We'd crack her cams, docs, voices. Her net was hers to hang. Saturday night, Elmwood Heights community room crackled with tension. 70 residents packed in, chairs scraping, air thick with suspicion and fury. I, Tom Grayson, stood at the front. My phone synced to a projector. The official county, map glowing. The Elsie May's $300 fine my spark. Margaret Winters, perm stiff, clipboard clutched, strutted to the podium. Greg Voss, smirking beside her. Sylvia and Bob nodding like drones. Order, she barked, gavel banging, her posse smug, her rein teetering. Not tonight, I'd rigged this meeting to bury her, and Elmwood was ready to swing. Emergency motion, I called, voice steady. Linda Chen, silver bob sharp. Flanked me, county map up, lot 17 bold, my boat pad, my land, no common area inch. This, I roared, is legal, 1975 deed unchanged. Margaret's fine's a lie. Her smirk twitched. Sit, Grayson. But I flipped. My 2 a.m. video, her perm staking my lot, shifted prime spot, stakes glinting, gasps rippled. Mrs. Harper clutched her cane. She fined my shed, 200. Mr. Torres, my fence, 150. Neighbors stirring. Her posse shrinking. Derek Jones stepped up, wiry, 40, hands twitching, eyes darting. I'm done, he said, voice cracking, Margaret's glare a dagger. She cornered me, Dino's. Forge these maps or $500 fine. Your garage. I caved hers, Harper's, fake, common lines. His USB, emails, hit the screen. Push Grayson, 2 mil of Pinnacle locked, do it. Greg's nod, her perm plotting, Mrs. Lopez gasped. My roses are hundreds, she's stealing? Derek choked. She bribed me, $500 cash. Threatened my house. Sorry. Tears. Streaking, his confession a bomb. Bob's jaw dropped. Sylvia paled. I pressed. Friday's cam rolled, 3 a.m. Margaret's perm, a hooded stranger, cash swapped. Finish Torres, fast. Then Sunday, 4 a.m. Her truck, Greg's grunt. Pull the boat. Now. The Elsie May dragged, chains clanking, my pad torn. 70 gasps. Thief. Mr. Chen stood. She fined my shed. 300. Land grab. Linda snapped. Section 4. Resident consent ignored. Section 6. Fraud voids office. My bylaws. Her noose. Margaret lunged. Lies, I'm chair. But Derek's, she paid me. She stole it. Her gavel shook. Vote, I roared. Evidence blazing, maps, cams, emails, her plot bare. Mrs. Harper, she's done. Hands flew. 62. Bob and Greg alone, cowed. Out! I banged. Her clipboard clattered. Karen shrieked, you'll pay! But booze drowned her. Neighbors surged. Mrs. Lopez hugged Linda. We've got her. Greg bolted, caught by Mr. Torres. Sit! Sylvia froze. Her posse ash. 70 voices. Gone! Gone! Elmwood's roar, my lens live. 100,000 views. She's toast. Margaret's boat grab, her finds, her fakes cracked. My map, Derek's truth flipped her. Pinnacle's $2 million sank, her rain rubble. Could her bribes, her claws, outrun a block's fury, a live stream's glare? Elmwood stood, my boat scarred, our will steel. Her gavel hers no more. The air in Elmwood Heights community room still buzzed Saturday night. Margaret Winter's reign teetering after my evidence. County maps, Derek's confession, videos of her midnight stakes, cracked her facade. I, Tom Grayson, stood firm, the Elsie May's $300 fine my spark, 70 neighbors roaring as her perm quivered, her clipboard a relic. Vote, I'd bellowed, 62 ousting her, but Sunday the hammer fell harder. Margaret's plot wasn't just exposed, it was obliterated, her downfall sealed by law and Elmwood's grit. Monday, Linda Chen, retired lawyer, silver bob sharp, hit the county land office at dawn, my official map in hand. Check this, she demanded. Clerk Evans, 60, grizzled, flipped through. Lot 17, mine unchanged since 75. No redraws, no common area. Winter's survey, fake, he snapped. Stamps forged, dates off. My boat pad, Mrs. Harper's shed, Mr. Torres' fence. Legal, hers a fraud. Linda's call hit me mid-coffee. All her maps, bullshit. County's got nothing. My live stream flared. 50,000 views. She's done. Mrs. Lopez texting. Land's ours. Tuesday, cops rolled in. Sergeant Davis, badge glinting lead. Clara Tanner's tip. My cams, Linda's docs a flood. Margaret Winters, fraud, forgery, step up, he barked. Her perm wilted. She'd slunk to the HOA office, clipboard clutched. Greg Voss beside. Cuffs snapped. You too, Voss. Property fraud. Her this is my HOA shrilled. Davis snorted. Not anymore. County says fake. Your stakes, your maps felony. My 2 a.m. video, her shift it prime spot, played. Derek's, she bribed me 500. Greg's, pull the boat, sealed it. Elmwood's eyes, 70 strong, glared. Her posse, Sylvia Bob, shrank, mute. Wednesday council chambers, Clara crashed, Mayor's steel. Margaret's out, 62 HOAs null. Land office stamp, fraudulent redraws cancelled. Cops hauled files, $2 million Pinnacle deal. Greg's consulting, her lake cash, traced, FBI loomed. Grand theft, land scam. Mrs. Harper stood. She fined my shed 200. She's a crook. Mr. Chen, my fence 300 gone. Cheers erupted 70 hands high. Free, free. Margaret's rain ash. Greg's firm bust. Her common a cage snapping shut. Thursday, Elmwood danced. Mrs. Lopez grilled. Ribs sizzled. Mr. Torres toasted. To Tom! My boat. The Elsie May. Back, pad patched. Neighbors hugged. Mrs. Harper, we're us again. Linda grinned. She's toast. Live stream hit 200,000. HOA's dead. Clara clapped me. You lit it, county's clean. Margaret's cuffs, feds hauling, her lake house seized. Greg's fast a flop. Elmwood's roar, Karen's fall, our rise. Could her bribes, her claws, outrun a block's wrath, a mayor's sister's steel? Friday peace bloomed, HOA gone, Elmwood's airlight. My boat gleamed. Mrs. Chen's shed stood, Harper's fence shone, 300 fines dust. Margaret's survey, her noose, cops digging. Her perm, her plot, jailbound, Elmwood ours. Could one fine, one boat, flip a block? Yes, 70 cheers my cams. Her greed, her grave. Justice not just mom's, but ours. A perm's ruin, a block's rebirth. Margaret Winter's arrest, cuffs snapping mid-meeting, left Elmwood Heights reeling, but by Friday the dust settled into hope. I, Tom Grayson, stood on my patched boat pad, the LZ May gleaming, watching Karen's reign crumble. Her perm, gone. Her lake house seized. Greg Voss's golden parking scam busted. Elmwood wasn't just free, it was ready to rebuild. Saturday, 70 of us crammed the community room, chairs full, air buzzing. Margaret's neon finds a ghost, her clipboard a relic. New start, I said. Linda Chen, 68, silver bob sharp, stepped up. I'm in. Her lawyers steal a vow. Linda chaired Sunday, elected 65-0, her voice steady. Transparency first rule. No fines for boats, no midnight stakes. HOA dues fixed, potholes, not patios. Records open, every cent tracked. No Karens, she grinned. Mrs. Lopez clapped. We're us again. Mr. Chen toasted. To Tom. My boats fight their spark. Monday, county rolled in. Land office maps redrawn. Lot 17, mine, bricks firm. Mrs. Harper's shed, Mr. Torres' fence. Titles cleared, $300 fines erased. Restitution checks cut. $5,000 to Harper, $3,000 to Chen. Elmwood's land, Elmwood's hands, there's a new. Tuesday we built. Linda's HOA met. Me, Mrs. Patel, Mr. Lee, rules slashed, pets free, yards yours. Margaret's common a memory, dues planted a garden, roses for Mrs. Lopez, neighbors grilled, ribs sizzled. To Elsie. May! My boat gleamed, a badge of grit. Elmwood's airlight, our block tight. Wednesday I synced. Margaret's fall, my cams, 2 million views. Clara's, she's toast. A seed, Linda pitched. Website, hofight.org. Spread it. Thursday we launched. Mrs. Harper typed anti-HOA abuse. My footage. Karen Stakes, her prime spot. Up chat flared. My HOA, find my flag, 200. Ohio, Texas, she's ours. 10,000 hits, Elmwood's roar rippling. Could one boat, one block shift a nation? Friday, justice bloomed, feds hit. Margaret's $2 million traced, Greg's firm dead. Her lake cash, $1.5 million clawed back. Elmwood's garden, Thompson Fall Park, ironic nod, benches, roses. Mrs. Chen planted, for Tom's dad. Kids ran, neighbors hugged. Linda vowed, no scams, ours. Margaret's trial loomed, fraud, forgery, years in grey. Her common, her cage, Elmwood danced, Mr. Torres's free, Mrs. Patel's ours. My boat purred. Landmine, lines true, could her greed outrun a block's steel? A live stream's glare, Saturday, Elmwood stood, new HOA, Linda's oath. Serve, not steal. Maps right, my pad, Harper's shed, ours, hofight.org, 50,000 views. Clara grinned. You sparked it. Mrs. Lopez baked. Victory. P. Neighbors waved. Elmwood's roots. Margaret's fall, our rise. Could one find, one fight, Tom's boat, forge a shield? Yes, 70 hands, Linda's steel, my cams, Karen's ruin, our park. Elmwood wasn't hers, it was ours, reborn. Her stakes dust, our standstone, a block's grit, a boat's grace. Hose beware, Elmwood's free. Tom Grayson's stand against Margaret Winter's HOA tyranny in Elmwood Heights offers a resonant melody for those of us in life's later years, where battles often wear softer names. For older hearts, it hums a truth we've learned through decades of quiet grit. Corruption bows when met with steadfast endurance. Margaret's $300 fine on the Elsie May, her midnight stakes to steal Tom's land, echo the petty overreaches we've faced. Neighbors' slights, rules bent to burden, rather than bind. Yet Tom, boatpad firm, camera rolling, stood unbowed. We too can root ourselves when greed or bias claw at our peace. Age isn't a fade, it's a forge. Our hands, wrinkled by time, still hold anchors like his boat, steady against storms. Stand for your patch, be it a garden or a memory, your roots deep as his, defy when you dare. Her fall, forged maps, bribes exposed, teaches vigilance's patient eye. Margaret's $2 million plot, her fake common land, mirrors scams we've sniffed, Overcharges veiled as fees, power cloaked as care. Tom's cams, Linda's maps turned her greed to ash. We too can sharpen our squint. Check the notice, trace the line, question the cost. Our years gift us clarity, not haste, spotting rot where youth might rush. Keep a ledger, old friend. Your wisdom, seasoned by life's turns, guards your shore, a quiet watch against the Margarets who pray. Elmwood's rise, HOA reborn, land restored, shines on unity's gentle might. Margaret isolated, Tom rallied, Linda, Derek, neighbours elder and worn, her targets turned her tribunal. We've felt solitude's creep, friends slip, steps, slow, but this whispers, connect. Share a coffee, lend a voice. Your porch, your tales can knit a block no tyrant rends. Tom's boat sparked a park. Thompson's fall a bloom. Our fights, small as a stake, concede joy for those we hold. Age isn't retreat, it's a bridge. Your stand lifts where greed tears down. hofight.org, Tom's ripple, nods to legacies. Soft reach. Margaret's ruin birthed a shield, Elmwood's grit a beacon beyond its lanes. We ponder what lasts. Knees ache, shadows stretch, but this urges, sow. Tend your cause, be it a neighbour's fence or a community's call. Your anchor, like his boat, holds worth past your days. She fell, cuffed, broke, her stakes dust. He rose, land kept, a sight shared. Could one fine, one fight shift to suburb's soul? Yes, our scars, our steel, forge fairness when we plant. Endurance isn't loud but lasting. A quiet grace age perfects, turning stakes to strength.